Your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Did you beat your wife? Did you kick a pup? We'll find your crimes and rake it up. Did you laugh at Hubbard? That's not nice, and now you'll have to pay your price. So will your crimes, Mark? What have you done? Oh, it's too late now. Fair game's begun.
Not aware of any crimes, but I am fully aware of many technical difficulties that were happening that delayed the start of the stream. But I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining me. It's quite a day. No particular reason, but I'm glad that we could share together. Let me come and see who's here. Nobody. Kelly is here. All right. That sounds right. I kept you waiting 20 minutes and nobody's here. Very good. Oh, Tony's here. Hey, Kelly. Hi, Mark. Oh, everybody's popping up now. Steph the writer's here. Happy birthday, she says. How about that? Unstoppable SP says hi. Yeah, JB808, thank you. Nice to see you. Happy birthday, Mr. Bunker. Yeah, there's no escaping it. As much as I tried, it is my birthday. I try to keep that under wraps. Normally, I don't mention it to anyone, but Facebook lets everybody know. And I've been too lazy to take that down. So thank you. Thank you for all the birthday wishes, everybody. Liz Gale's here. How about that? Oh, Steph's got it on the calendar. So even if I took down Facebook and shut down the whole company, she'd still be on top of it and be spreading the word everywhere. How about that? Fiesta time? How about siesta time? Stephanie says, I don't know how it got on there. Well, if you have me in the contacts, it's probably listed automatically if you're using Gmail, because I think that's listed there as well. So I get all sorts of notices from people about people's birthdays as well. Jane says, happy birthday. My new granddaughter's birthday today, too. Wow, that's exciting. How brand new. Very, very nice. Very happy for you. So along with the, whoa, look at this. Wow, what a great birthday gift. JB808 comes through with 20 Xenu TV memberships. Bless you. That's, wow, that is brand new. 12/17 today. Well, congratulations to you and to the mom and dad and uncles and everybody. Congratulations, everybody. Everyone get out your cigars. PM Pacific, thanks for the thanks for narrowing that down for us. Kenny Adcock says, hi, Mark. Okay, well, I was running a little late. Did not stop that, did not help. Along with the technical difficulties that I encountered, I was rushing over here from my birthday party. I did have a little get together with only my closest friends. It was a lovely affair. You can see we gathered in my luxurious penthouse dining room suite. I don't like to broadcast from there. I keep it there for my just me and my intimate friends. I told the gals we're having a 69 party, and they rushed right over. And of course, then I told them it's my 69th birthday, and they were still happy. We had delicious cake, just like Anonymous. We had cake. Kelly's the hot blonde there. Woo-woo. And I have for you the celebration that we had last night for the victorious gathering of the Save the Garden folks. Super sticker from Unstoppable SP. God bless you. Nice to see you. Really appreciate that. There you go. That's a nice birthday gift. Thank you. So it was a nice get together last night at the sports bar right there on Cleveland Street. Just one of the businesses owned or run by Tony, who's got the dueling piano bar and cigar bar, lots of bars, sports bar. Crypt Rick is here. Hello from Canada. Hello back to you. Tina and the last 20. Nice to see you. So what really slowed me down, I was having a hard time downloading the video of this event that we had last night. And then I was having some audio issues, and I discovered in fixing all of this stuff that I accidentally recorded, well, I didn't record the event, but when I was editing the video together, I forgot to mix the track, so it's only on one channel. So I'm going to have to go back and redo the video and put that back up again. But it is available, even though I couldn't download it, it is available with the weakened audio. It still sounds fine, but if you're listening through a stereo speakers, it'll only come through on one end from this viewing. And I am ready to play that if you folks are ready to watch. Well, here's something from the truth. No matter how much you hate Scientology, nothing will destroy Scientology. Respect the religious beliefs of others. Well, that is a lovely thought. And no one is trying to destroy Scientology. You couldn't if you wanted to. And I know you're just here to troll, Truth, but it's worth talking about. Scientology will continue to exist no matter what we do. Once there's a belief system, it's really impossible to stamp it out. There are people who still believe that the earth is flat. There are people who believe in Hitler. We have neo-Nazis who fervently believe that this is the right way to go. If we wanted to get rid of that, which I think most of us do, unless, of course, you're a neo-Nazi, you couldn't get rid of that. There are always going to be people who believe in Hubbard. There's always going to be people who want to do the auditing and follow the tech, and they're welcome to. Scientology should stop abusing people, and they should stop lying about it. I'm fine with that. I have lots of folks who I know who are in the free zone. I know Scientology hates that and wants to destroy that, but I think independent Scientologists have every right to follow Hubbard's system, as those folks who want to pay a fortune to the corporate giant who, in many cases, excommunicated them. So, again, you can believe anything you want. You can love L. Ron Hubbard. You can ignore the fact that he lied about every single aspect of his life, that he let his wife take the fall for him, and she went to prison for breaking into the FBI and the IRS or running that operation, whereas Hubbard went into hiding in the desert for the rest of his life. If you want to consider that a religious icon, if you want to bow down to him, feel free. I have every right to say he's a tubby lunatic charlatan. And you're welcome to follow him. Just warning people. That's all. Just warning people. And tonight we're warning people about, David Miscavige. Can you trust David Miscavige to come through and be an honest partner with the city of Clearwater? And the answer, of course, is no, because he's had ample opportunity over the decades to prove he is a partner or even wants to be a partner. He wants what he wants. And if he doesn't get what he wants, he gets very upset. Steph asks if the Venmo link is still active. Yeah, it should be. If you want to try it right now, we can find out. Kaboom. Or did you try it? Oh, yep, you did. There you go. That came through, Steph. I appreciate that. Big help. That's a nice thing. It's worth having people know that it is my birthday now. How about that? I try to hide that as best I can. Let's see. Somebody asked a question here. Where'd that go? Oh, there's 2-starred. All right. Oh, those are the super sticker and the gifts. Let's go back here. I saw. Oh, Crypt Rick. I was just about to respond to this. I have no idea how they are getting new members. Well, they're doing it deceptively for the most part. They're still out there doing their marketing seminars. In fact, just about a half a year or so ago, when I was out with some of the picketers on a Friday night here in Clearwater, there was a woman who, it was a couple. The guy stayed in the car way down at the end of the block, but she came running down to the front of the flag building where the protesters were to ask about Scientology. And it turned out she was here in town for the weekend doing, or could have been a full week, doing a marketing seminar for her job as a therapist. I forget what, she's not a massage therapist, but it's the physical therapy stuff. Oh, for God's sake. You know what I'm talking about. Chiropractors. So they had a business. They're a young couple, and they invested a lot of money into taking these courses. And she was very disturbed to find out that it was Scientology. She had no idea. But we were talking, and I was saying things like, I was explaining how they go after professionals like her, and how they get their claws into you, and how they'll have people then working in your office so they know how much money you're making, and they teach you how to do the hard pressure sales that can eventually drive away all the people who had been members. And we were talking about the SPs. And she went, we just studied that today. She said, one of the things they asked us is to name a suppressive group. And all this kind of startled her. And by the end of the conversation, she said, I want out. The husband, though, was still convinced. We paid the money. We can get what we want from this course, and then move on. But she was pretty freaked out. And that was kind of interesting to see in real time. And that was right when I was able to say, hey, just go online and you'll be able to watch that interview I did with the dentist in Chicago to explain exactly how the process goes. So that's one way they continue to do it. It's harder and harder to get people in off the street just by saying, hi, we're Scientology. Curious? The billboard should say, I'm a Scientologist. Furious? My cliff notes on LRH from Tina and the Last 20. Every word, every thought, every method is plagiarized, bastardized, and recycled from another. Boop, boop, boop. Woot, look at you being on time, Lori. They making fun of you for coming in a little bit late, Nurse Lori. I was late myself, so you're not missing much. And poof, 9/11. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Hell no, no one trusts David Miscavige. No one should, but there are people who do. Cryptoric says, I honestly bought the Dianetics book from an infomercial 35 years ago, and they are still sending me mail. No joke. No, that is not a joke. They have to keep those stats up. And losing you as a person that they can list as a stat, we sent out another letter to all these multitudes of people who don't want to hear from us. That is the way they work. Wow, that is a commitment. It is crazy. I even, when I went to the Phoenix org one time to shoot some video and look around, because they know me and they knew me in Southern California, so I decided I'll travel out to Phoenix. I went in there, big, beautiful, ideal org with nobody in it except one teenager at the front desk, and he was thrilled to see me. And I wandered around and hit some of the videos, kiosks, and he was trying to be very helpful. And as I always do when I go into an org, I sign my name and address, and I don't hide who I am. And I got a letter from that guy within a week saying, "Hey, nice to meet you the other day. Come on down to the org for some coursework." And I said, "No, I don't think I will. I'm here in San Diego, and you're there, but thanks for the invite." And I occasionally still get letters. Two of my uncles get letters from them, says Steph the writer. Yep, handwritten to boot. Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's the way it was with the kid who made that personal entreaty. So, this is how you get your stats up. You have to handwrite that letter. You have to prove that this is your work, not something stamped, filed, and indexed and mailed out by some machine, for God's sakes, unless you consider the Scientologists machines. Let's see. So since I couldn't download this video, the celebration, I'm going to play it straight from YouTube. And again, if you're listening through stereo speakers, the sound's only going to come through one side. But let's take a look at this, shall we? I'm going to come over here. Oop, that's not the one. It's this one. I'm going to close that one so don't confuse me, because I'm easily confused. All right. Here we go. So this was last night, and it was a nice event.
We can come down here and put on events. Do you agree? Do you agree we need to do that? Awesome. We got Mark Bunkers in the house, ladies and gentlemen. What an amazing gift you are, Mark, to our town. Thank you for having me on your podcast, SI, or whatever it was. Just tell Aja, help me out. And we have someone dressed for the funeral. We got Pharaoh Cheryl's in the house tonight. Ladies and gentlemen. One of my favorite people. Tell us why you're celebrating the death of downtown and the life of new downtown. Go ahead.
I've been wanting to defeat Scientology since I was 5 years old. Huh? This is the biggest win I've ever had. So I'm dressing up for it. I am the visual representation of where David Miscavige should watch it. Let's go to down here. Yeah.
There we go. Clear water, clear water, clear water. What's your accent? London. All right. Well, thank you so much. I suggested on a couple of podcasts that we should have a Louisiana-style funeral for the old buildings that are no longer active, and we should have a celebration of new life with New Town. Did I just see Aaron Smith Levin walk through the building, ladies and gentlemen? Give a big round of applause. We'll bring you up in a second because we have a gift for you. Someone named Little Man Dave N sent you a gift. So we have we have Barbara Story Love in the house tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
My name is Barbara Story Love, and I am the resident of Clearwater African American Foundation. And our mission is to preserve, memorialize Clearwater's African American places, foundations, da 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 da. Okay, how I fundraise. Last January, I began attending the city council meetings to ask the city council to purchase Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, which is one of 3 African American churches that's left on Clearwater Heights. And I've spoken to the mayor, I spoke to his CRA director, I headed out of City Hall for City Hall. Okay, so fast forward. March. Thank you very much. So fast forward, March 17th. Kelly, where are you? Okay, anyway.
Kelly. Hey, by the way, this is Kelly Meyer and best friend of Jill. We love you, Kelly. If it wasn't for Jill and Kelly, I affectionately call Team Jelly, we would not be here today. And also Mike Mastroserio got us started on this journey. Mike, give it up for Mike right here. All right.
So I was sitting at home one day minding my business, and I got a text from Kelly, who saw my presentation with the council on March 17th. I got this text from this person I didn't know, Barbara, but she knew me. Barbara, I'd like to present a proposal to the city council. I ignored it. I didn't recognize the phone number. So then about 2 hours later, she said, Barbara, Allison Dolan recommended you to me. Allison Dolan is the director of Clearwater Historical Society. I said, okay, well, she can't be too bad. So I called her. She said, I'm going to loop you in with Brooks Gibbs. Who is Brooks Gibbs? So anyway, Brooks got on the phone and he said, Barbara, how would you like for me to help you with the garden proposal? And I said, what he got for? So he emailed me this proposal. And I said, it's okay. This has been a struggle, guys. This is week 6. Okay. It has not been all ice cream and cake. I said, okay, you can go present the proposal. Just don't mention cemeteries. Sorry. My husband and I were sitting at home watching Brooks go up to the podium. First, it was Kelly. She went up and threw herself on the vector. I said, okay, here we go. And then Brooks came up, presented the proposal. And that day it had to be in at 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
And this was 3 o'clock when he was giving me the information. So anyway, he goes up to the lectern and he says, Barbara Story Love with the Clearwater African American Foundation. He said my name maybe 3 times in 3 minutes. And my husband said, oh, they really want to know this Barbara Story Love. And at the time of faces, I said, tell me about it. So anyway, that caused a bunch of flack because people who I was connected with thought that I had gone from our table and shared the garden, which was not the case. So Brooks and Jill and Kelly, thank you. Brooks and Jill and Kelly and I, we went to the African American Museum on Long Clearwood, and we met the Literacy Society. And at the mercy of the court, Brooks apologized for mistake, and we all shook hands and parted ways. There was forgiveness in there. So I have on Brooks shoes. They are Brooks shoes, and that's how I know the Lord is in this. I went to DSW to buy a pair of shoes. I wanted to change the shoes that I had on, and they didn't have the pair that I wanted. So the salesperson said, come on here, let me show you these shoes. She showed me these Brooks shoes. she showed me these Brooks shoes. Thank you. And I said, I don't want these shoes. I don't want to pay $100 for a pair of shoes. She said, don't be concerned about how much they cost. Be concerned about the functionality and how they were to like make you feel. I said, okay. So when I met Brooks, he looked down at my shoes and said, oh, I see you wearing my name. I said, oh, I didn't even think about that. That's what I said. You know, Laura, you are in this. So Brooks and I connected on that particular day. And here we are today. We appreciate everyone who's come out and supported the Save the Garden initiative. And no one was talking about Garden Avenue before I started the conversation. And so we're here today to save the garden because Garden Avenue is one of the three African-American, self-sustaining African-American communities that was in Clearwater back in the day. There was North Greenwood, where my board member, Barbara Miller, she's a real historian. And then myself, and there's North Greenwood, the garden, and then there's Clearwater Heights. And right now, North Greenwood is one of the communities that's in a, I guess, a rebirth, but Garden Avenue is, well, you know what Garden Avenue looks like. And Clearwater Heights is nothing left there but the church. And basically that's it. And this is my short story and I'm sticking to it, okay?
Thank you so much. All right, there you go. Ms. Barbara, we love you so much, and we thank you for giving us vision and inspiration. You're so awesome.
Yeah. If you know the song. I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. I'm a soldier in the army. I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. I have my soul in the army of the Lord. I have my soul in the army.
That's so awesome. Oh, man. You know, we would not have had the cause of the African American lost and forgotten community called the Garden if it wasn't for March 17th, Ms. Barbara Story Love getting up and sharing that. It is amazing to me that the accusation that we would use the African community as a pawn to stop is just not living in truth. The truth is we want to stop Scientology from taking one more square inch. And there was one other lady who had an alternative vision for that street. And all we did is get together to make both of our dreams come true. It's as simple. It's also an insult to say that someone as wise and wonderful as Miss Barbara Story Love could be manipulated somehow by some scallywag. You know, no, she's a sharp cookie. In our first conversation, you were in the control the whole time. You were drilling me with questions. And thankfully, we serve the same God, and some of the scripture verses that I popped off the top of my head resonated with you. And every time we get together, I try to give you a hanky because you just want to wave it around because you just feel God's presence so much. So we love you. We love you so much. You know, we are going to put the Garden Memorial on South Garden Avenue as planned. It's not going anywhere else. That's exactly where it's going to go. Now, we may have to modify it a little bit as Miss Lena to share suggested. Maybe the footprint so we could have 2 lanes still going, and that's fine. But Miss Kelly and I are working hard with the city, arranging conversations with the mayor, with Parks and Recreation to establish a plan to install that garden. So we appreciate your prayers and continued support. It's probably going to be about an 18-month project. And my concern is that we're going to lose energy or momentum. And that's just the nature of when you're administrating things and getting it going. But our team is committed to crank out more videos, crank out more historical videos and oral history to get you fired up about the garden, that lost community that used to be here. So, are you excited about the future? I am. You know, I should have brought him up here first, but the guy who brought to our attention, I tell you, I want to ask him what one of his favorite moments are, but I'm talking about Mike Mastroserio. Will you come up here, please? You've been such a blessing. Now, if you were sitting in Cotton's seat, you wouldn't have drilled me like Cotton, would you?
We wouldn't be in this position at all.
That's right. That's right. All right, share what's on your heart and your favorite moment.
First of all, the Times called me up after Scientology withdrew. They didn't want to lose, so they withdrew their proposal. But we have to continue on, so they do lose. But the paper called me up and they asked me, what I thought. And I said, well, we're going to celebrate a win. I want to thank God for David Albritton changing his vote. And then I didn't say this, but she put it in the paper. She says, we know they're always going to be here. If you know me at all, I don't agree with that statement. We can finish the job. The biggest thing that we have is what's right here, and all we have to do is multiply it. Because if you send it out, this morning I got a phone call from a young lady that's here tonight. She says, I watched all 7 of the videos, and she says, I really got to know Brooks real well. I want to be part of this movement. And we need to send that out to everybody we know, because we don't need 100 or 1,100 signatures. We need tens of thousands. Okay. All right, so you got to send it out to everybody you know. It's more than just Garden Street. That's the start. Can you imagine a walk starting there and going through downtown? And there, in fact, Allison Dole was brought up. She's contacted me to do a interactive walk, and so I'm going to connect Brooks with her and everything else. But to do a walk all through downtown and really create a history, just like they do in Tampa, just like they do with the River Walk down there. So we can do that. But today I got a real big blessing. I heard today that they're going to take ideas for the library to be converted into more than just a library. There is more square footage in that one building than Scientology has to offer in 3 blocks. We do not need any of Scientology's properties. All they want to do is lie to us and hook and bait and say, you need this, you need us, because you can't do without us. First of all, there's 4 people in this block right here that have been here. Sol Cecilia have been here 6 years now. They got great Italian food. You need to tell all your friends about it. We citizens are the answer to doing what needs to be done. If there's more people here than there, and then Scientology has, they become very minuscule, very little. So we're going to tackle this on many different fronts. But we can be progressive. We can be, we cannot be on the defensive. We can be on the offense, just like they are. They put a bunch of stuff out there and they attack the attacker. We can attack. We have more people. The citizens of the vote. Money can only buy certain people. Money cannot buy you. Money cannot buy Scientology. Scientology doesn't have enough votes. So we can win. But anyway, this is a day to celebrate. But please stay in touch, be involved, spread the news. This is just the beginning, but there will be an end because he is in charge. Thank you, Jesus.
Another special announcement, which is very important for our project. As you know, there's a lot of debate about the history of the African American people in this area. And Ms. Barbara Story-Love connected me with an amazing anthropologist named Dr. Jackson at the University of South Florida. She is the gold standard for research. She runs an institute there called the Living Heritage Institute at the South Florida, or University of South Florida. And she has agreed, we just secured this yesterday, she's agreed to be our research with her doctoral students to make sure that the history and all the research is out of our hands. It's in the university's hands, and they will tell us what happened all these years. They will tell us. There will be no infighting. There will be no debating this. We will submit to the superior science that's going to tell us exactly what happened on South Garden Avenue many, many years ago. And she will verify that all this land, 160 acres, was actually sold in 1842 by a guy by the name of James Stevens to another guy named John Taylor for one black slave. Today, that land is worth $1 billion at $6.5 million an acre. 160 acres for one black slave. That is just one little story, which is the foundational story. By the way, James Stevens, the guy who owned the property, father of Clearwater, he sold it to the father of Pinellas County, John Taylor. Clearwater history is African American history, and the University of South Florida will prove it. You know, I'm so excited about what Mike Mastroserio said. He talks about new downtown. He talks about revitalizing it ourselves. You know what? We do control the streets. I cannot wait to connect my architect with Mike Mastroserio and show how we could have Cleveland Street, a massive festival, open every single weekend, driving traffic down the hill. This is going to be the hot spot. That's what we're getting. It is our absolute top priority this next year to activate Cleveland Street. We can activate it. Mike Mastroserio is the visionary behind that. But you know who really has put blood, sweat, and dollar bills, y'all? His name is Tony. Please give it up for Tony.
Tony owns all the businesses there in here.
Oh, I want to start by just saying thank you guys. It means the world to see this place full. I've been here for 3-4 years trying to reactivate it downtown. I've made friends, enemies, and everything in between. And I'm happy to be part of this group to save the garden. It's been a dream of mine to have these kind of victories. I've been kind of here on the block by myself for 3 years through permitting issues and between the city and for the organization not wanting to activate the community. It's been difficult. From the success we've had in Nash Keys to the success we've had in Captain, and now we're trying to activate this corner as well. This block has been empty for, I don't know, 20 plus years, but it's been a ghost town. And I've been here from being shunned out of merchant meetings to becoming the president of the Merchant Association, from being told by the fire department that it was a terrible idea to do business down here. From one delay to the other, I never gave up. And you'll find from any public speaking I've ever done, it's been an uphill battle. But through the help of the people who care about this community, through the activation that is being brought to not only myself, but people like the merchants just down here that are really putting in their sweat, blood, and tears, from the people that come down here and work here, from even the everyday workers, they're the heroes of this community. And I want us to remember that. But it's been a long uphill battle, and I just want to share a little bit of a story of why this is so important. I remember not too long ago, I wrote this manifesto that Team Jelly read and picked up, and I was at a city council meeting like I usually speak there. They told me, what are you trying to do with the garden? Why do you want to be a part of the project? Before Save the Garden project was even a thought, I said, just because if we give up now, we lose more than just a street. We lose the identity and the feeling that we belong. And that's really why I joined the cause. From the very first meeting we had at Nash Keys, where I met Brooke, where I met Miss Sori Love, where we made it all happen. It's been a journey, ups and downs, and it's been a great victory. So I just want to say thank you to all you guys, that you guys made it happen. From all the activism to the everyday, thank you guys, because we need to bring more voice today.
Hey, oops, here we go. So Sorry, it's a little cumbersome to pause the video when it's on another tab here. So I just wanted to stop to say something about Tony, because Tony's pretty remarkable. He's put millions of dollars into refurbishing these buildings, which he doesn't own. They're owned by a Greek woman who is holding on to them for her family. She's, I think, the last holdout who hasn't sold her properties to Scientology. And he has fought for years now to get these businesses up and running. And there's so much red tape. And one of the things that we tried to do when Kathleen Beckman and I both got on the city council was cut some of the red tape, but it seems to be endless. You know, they'll be applying for something, and then one department will say, oh, but you got to have this up to fire code, this, that, and the other thing. You have to jump through all these hoops, and it just takes forever, it seems. But he's persevered, and he is making a go of it. And his piano bar is hopping many nights, weekends especially. This is the first time I visited the new sports bar that this event was in. And I also wanted to stop here to answer Hagesbasher's question about what the new hotel is being built in Clearwater. The one that's going to be down there on the waterfront. If I remember correctly, it's a boutique hotel that's, I think, part of the Hilton chain, but I'm not positive. But it's a hotel chain of that caliber. Just a boutique offshoot of it. And that'll be nice. And there'll be restaurant there, and there'll be a beer garden, and there'll be retail that Scientology doesn't control. And these are things that I didn't mention when I got up on stage. He's going to invite me up, and I think I barged up a couple times to talk about some of the things that were happening that would allow us to rebuild downtown despite Scientology. So if we continue everything that Tony and now Brooks are going to accomplish, and we have another 420 apartments on the bluff that Scientology doesn't control, and all the retail and hotel and all of that, that's a good start. And with all the county properties that will be available for the city to redevelop outside the hands of Scientology, we still have a fighting chance. And if Scientology plays along and does what they say they're going to do, and they put businesses in all these empty buildings, that's the if factor. If they were smart, they would do that. They'd say, all right, let's have business. Let's have life down here. It's not what Miscavige really wants, but so nothing to do with Scientology? No, the hotel has nothing to do with Scientology. It's not under their control. None of the new projects that we approved when I was on the council can be put in the hands of Scientology. That's in the contracts. Even if down the way, the developer who built the apartments, if they decided they wanted to sell somebody, they have to go to the city. City has to give approval, and it has to be, we put in the contract that it can only be sold to another equivalent developer who actually has, large complexes of apartments that they run. So if Scientology wants to, they're going to have to start, building their own towers of apartments rather than just building condos for them to buy. All right. Yes, it is nice that Kathy. Well, what was great about Kathy, because Kathy's buildings have been empty for ages. What's really nice is that she's allowing businesses now to go in there and thrive, and it's a great deal for her because they were sitting there really not up to code, and up to code enough so that they were safe. you could enter them, and that's the thing that that causes a lot of problems with trying to deal with empty buildings. As long as they're up to code enough so that they're not a safety hazard, there's not a lot the city can do about it, because the state of Florida has so many rules that really favor property owners. And we can't use like eminent domain to seize all the empty buildings that Scientology bought. One, we'd have to pay market value for it, and we don't have the hundreds of millions of dollars for those buildings that Scientology paid at 2, 3, 4 times, 6 times market value to buy them. So we'd have to pay Scientology and the Scientologists that money. And then if it's seized with eminent domain, the city can only then use it for something that is open to the community, like, but it has to have a community function. Like, we could put up a parking structure, but we could not say to a developer, hey, this would be a great place to put up an Apple store. Go ahead and do that. Even though the Apple store is, there for the public to shop at, but that's not a use for eminent domain. It would have to be, okay, we're going to join a partnership and create a new stadium with the Phillies downtown, for example. Something like that. All right. Let's. I think Tony's finishing up here. Let me take a look here. Clearwater Resort and Marina slated for March 20. No, that is not it. The hotel that will be going up is on Osceola Boulevard, right next to the library, right there on the waterfront. So that is something, probably that one probably is on property owned by Scientology, and most likely is a Scientology project, but who knows? Definite Trouble Source says, hello, friends. Happy birthday, Mark. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Why didn't I come today? Are you talking about down to the protests? I'm a busy man. Just having tons of stuff to do here, and partying with the gals for my birthday. Was not able to make it. As far as I am aware, I did some DNA testing on myself. I think I'm 69. That is the definitive answer. All right. And they're cutting me open to count the tree trunks in me. Happy birthday, Bunky, says Rochelle. Thank you. Happy birthday from Sue Denham. Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone for the birthday wishes. Let's come back here and watch some more of the video.
Let's enjoy it. Enjoy the food. And guys, thank you for being part of downtown's growth. It means the world to us.
Awesome. Oh, we're not done yet. This sounded like a transition. It's not. I got to make sure Sean can scarf down his Caesar salad before he's back on the guitar. Can you play later on Superstition or whatever that? Ladies and gentlemen, 25 years we've been married this year, and our neighbor Kelly is with Jill. Please give it up for Team Jelly.
Yeah, it was great to meet Jill.
Yeah, you got a bump roll.
Say how we men. So, but we enjoy it, I guess.
Well, Kelly, the Kelly part of Jelly, has been the most influential and important part of this. I'm just kind of along for the ride. I will say this: you could not find a more unqualified, interesting group of people to do something like this. We had no idea that this was our future and all of our future. We are so excited for everyone here, everyone that has been a part of it. I believe it was Tony Ortega, may have been Mark Bunker, that closed out one of their podcasts just saying, "Congratulations, Clearwater." And I just started to cry. It was so special. I am giddy at what's to come. We've got some fantastic visionaries. We've got God on our side, and we are just surrounded by the most incredible people in this entire journey. So thank you guys. You have no idea what it means that you've come out for all of the different meetings, and you've come to the council meetings, and you emailed, and you've done all the things that was like just wind. I'm really bad with sayings. Just wind at our backs. And so we love you all, and we're excited to continue this journey with all of you. Becky,
And you should watch the tribute video that Brooks did about Jill.
Well, the Jill in Team Jelly is amazing. She is such a strong force for keeping us grounded in scripture, also keeping us from being too sassy when we had some frustrating times through this journey. And so I'm just so thankful to be friends with her and to be a part of this amazing community we have here in Clearwater. We are just blessed beyond measure, and there's so much potential in our future here. And so over almost 2 years ago now, when Jill and I started leading classes here in Clearwater, I sensed the Lord telling me, hold on tight. I had no idea that we would be kicking the behind of the billionaire cult in our city. So you just, we've learned to just trust the Lord in every step of the way, even when it didn't make sense or it wasn't in our timing. He opened the doors that needed to be opened. He brought our community together in unity with so many different backgrounds. It's incredible. So thank you for coming tonight, and we're so excited to see what else happens here in little Clearwater, Florida.
Awesome. Thank you. Look at this. All right. Before I let her down. Yep. Here we go.
I don't need to get out. I don't need it. Yeah, you do. I printed a bunch of little pieces of paper that said "Stop Scientology." If anybody saw my car, you can see my car, and it says, that. But I took this small little piece of paper to Kelly's class because they're teaching biblical citizenship. And her and Jill made all this happen. I might have started a little spark, but they ran with it. I also want to say a thank you to Mark Bunker. For years, he's been pushing this. And people wouldn't listen. But everybody here can be part of the solution. It's not about one person. It's about everybody. We need everybody. So thank you.
I see. There's a couple more people.
Well, some people did listen.
Keep recording, Mr. Mark Bunker, and we'll swap. I'll hold the camera while you come up here on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the heroes of our community. We're so thankful for you, my friend, Mark Bunker. Please give it up for him.
I didn't quite expect to be part of the show, but this transition worked okay.
Unaccustomed as a man to be in front of the camera. It is such an amazing achievement that you all have done. And I am astonished that, you probably have been following some of my videos along this journey. And there was a moment where I thought, well, this is lost. David Albritton, who is a man that I greatly admire, and it was a pleasure serving with him. He's a good man. But when I saw him on the Kelly show, just raving about what Scientology are going to do for downtown, I thought, well, that's it. It's over. And I was wrong. Thank God. It's all due to the folks behind Save the Garden, Barbara, Brooks, everybody. It's just amazing, Jill. Thank you for all the work you've done. Yeah, there is a bright future for downtown. There is. We've seen what you've accomplished here on this block, Tony. We've got more property coming online. You're talking about Mike was talking about the library project. Yeah, we've been in negotiations, and I don't know if that's fallen apart or not, with a major museum. I was going to take over the first floor, keep it active. Our former mayor, Hibbard, wanted to turn that into City Hall, but we said, no, we just spent $84 million on a park to bring people downtown. Let's make that building still something good for the people in the community, not for us to have beautiful waterfront offices. So we got that. We've got a lot of buildings that the county is going to be leaving, and they're making sure that all of those properties remain under Scientology's, under the city's control, rather, not under Scientology's. So we've got a lot of more real estate to work with than Scientology would like you to believe. That's buildings they'll never get. And it's just a matter of us convincing people that yes, there's wonderful reasons to kind of come. That's why Aaron and I did videos for years called Dining with ESPs. So we could take you to a restaurant down here and say, listen, it's safe. You don't have to be worried about coming down here. Food's great, restaurants are great. Come on down. It's your downtown. And that is finally coming to fruition thanks to everybody who's working on this project. Thank you all. That is great.
Awesome. I was thinking if I was a cat, I would be going insane right now with all these dots. What a neat guy you are, man. I so appreciate you. And you know, there's always a warrior. There's always a guy with paint on his face and a sword in his hand, and he's been through the battle. And that's Aaron Smith 11. Will you please give it up for Mr. Aaron Smith 11? With his friend. You brought a friend. Now you had an exclusive interview you dropped a couple days ago, didn't you?
This is life size right here, guys.
Yeah, we had a gift of this tiny little man named David M. I don't know what that means, but he came and he dropped this off for you. So this is a gift someone dropped off for you. Can you open it somehow? Yeah. It's childproof. Jeez. What's it say?
Oh, not today, Phaeton.
Not today, Satan.
We can put it on top. So, whereas the real Tom Cruise might still be forming a family-destroying human trafficking cult, Cardboard Tom is out protesting with us every Friday evening across from the Fort Harrison Hotel, along with the Clearwater crew. And everyone's welcome to join us who would like to. You know, that's perfect. That is perfect. There you go. Wow. You know, the truth is, guys, I'm not a particularly religious person.
Will you change it?
Working on it.
Want to finish? But after David Albritton said he was changing his vote, I do believe in miracles. And I do just want to, I know Tony got up here, but I do want to give a shout out because I'm streaming this on YouTube. I want to give a shout out to my audience, to Tony and his partners and the businesses they have here on Cleveland Street. People ask me all the time, you know, if I'm coming to Clearwater, if I'm coming downtown, where can I go? If you want to go to the last place in downtown Clearwater, where the buildings aren't controlled by Scientology and the businesses in the buildings weren't controlled by Scientology, you've got Nash Keys, you've got Captain's Cigar Lounge, and you have Prelude Sports Bar. The last three places, that's where you want to go. And, you know, when Mark Bunker won his seat on the Clearwater City Council, God, was it 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that? I don't know how many people know a Scientologist not only has never been on the city council, they've never even attempted to run because they know they have so few members and so few votes that it would expose the charade, the smoke and mirrors that they have so many members. And so when Mark Bunker won his election, that showed not only do they not have the numbers, the political clout to get their own members up there, they couldn't block someone from Mark getting on the council. So what did they do? They changed the laws. They changed the laws to require runoff elections if you don't win with a majority, so that if 4 or 5 people are running for the same seat, the person with the most votes does not automatically win, okay? So they did that, and Scientology was partially behind that to prevent someone who really understood Scientology from getting on the council. So once they passed that, once the new council, once Ryan Cotton won his seat, I'll tell you, David Miscavige thought he had it locked up. And he thought he was going to be able to push his agenda through. And I'll tell you, with the work that you guys have all done, and Brooks and Barbara and Kelly and Jill snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, absolutely incredible. And, someone mentioned earlier that Miscavige didn't want to officially lose the vote, so that's why he withdrew his proposal. And you know what that means? That means when he's ready to bring it back up again, it still only needs that one final vote. It doesn't have to pass twice. And that's why they are not done. The work is not done. But I think the main battle has been won. And I tell you, I just, the fact that such a strong message was sent to Scientology, we're not getting it done. It's not happening. Truly amazing. So congratulations to everybody.
Thank you, Aaron. We'll I'll close with this verse and I'll open it up for questions real quick in case you haven't. There's I don't know who asked me this. Hey, are you sure that that you should have been involved in this thing? Like I got work, I got a job. Are you sure you should have put all this time into it? And there's a verse that came to mind. It says, the blessings of the Lord makes one rich and adds no sorrow to them. When the Bible talks about rich, it's not always talking about money, because it talks a lot about storing up your treasures in heaven. Rich in relationships, rich in purpose, it's existential, it's a meaning. And there's no regret that we have. We absolutely are right where we need to be. I have no regret. I have no sorrow that's associated with this. If anything, I'm fueled with the new relationships, the awesome people we've met, the support we have, and we just have zero fear. We have zero fear. Like, how much fear do you have? Zero, bro. Zero. We know we're on the right side. We know we have amazing people with us. And with that type of support, it's like, if God is for us, who can be what?
Yay.
That's right. Who could be against us? And the point is, in the Socratic method, no one can be against us. Miss Barbara, you said South Garden Avenue is David. And we know the story of David that took down the giant. I think we will look back at this moment and say, this was the Jenga piece. This was the stone. This was the straw that broke, that made tumble, that made fall the whole entire house of cards. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I believe this is a significant victory. So to God be the glory. Great things he has done. All right, now, do you have any questions for us before we get back to music and dinner and socializing? And I'll be making my rounds as well. Good to see you. Any questions or any comments? Yes.
It's this property, that's property. They're not, the buildings aren't being run by town. Are there other businesses that are in?
Yeah. Tony would be perfect for answering this. Tony, if you're here. She was asking, we know that this building is not owned by the Church of Scientology, though they have tried to buy it from Kathy, I believe his name. He owns it, if I'm correct. And she's holding on to it, from what I understand, for her kiddos. But are there any other businesses that are not associated with Scientology, but they are renting? Did you want to answer? Yeah, I think our buddy left. Yeah.
I don't know all of the details, but yes, many of the businesses. Many of the businesses along Cleveland Street are non-Scientologists, but they are obviously renting from Scientology parishioners. And I will tell you, we've learned some interesting things. I mean, we have leases right now with these business owners that have month-to-month leases. They're very hesitant to speak out because, my goodness, that's their whole livelihood, right? If they say something incorrect, the lease could get canceled in the next month. We've heard even rumors that some business owners, they have been approached by their landlord and have asked to pay an additional percentage to their landlord on evenings that there are concerts at the Sound at Coachman Park. So we really need to start talking about this and supporting these businesses as a community, because it feels like there's a mafia downtown. And so, yeah, if you can support the businesses on Cleveland Street, it will be very helpful for them. Not just tonight, but do it this summer. Come down and frequent them, because the more they see more of the community supporting them and not being afraid to frequent their businesses, the more courage they're going to have and encouragement from Clearwater. So
Thank you so much.
And I am glad that she brought this up because, yeah, businesses are reluctant to speak out. And I really think it's important that they do, but they're not going to, because it means risking losing the business. But to have to live on a month-by-month lease, that's insane enough. One of the restaurants actually apparently closes when there's a concert on because they didn't want to pay the extra percentage for everything sold during the concert. And you know, it's outrageous. And they're already working on a kind of a really narrow profit margin to begin with, but then to be gouged because the city was willing to spend money to create a space for people to come downtown so they could enjoy the park and enjoy a concert, for then the Scientologist property owner to be gouging them is horrific. But until we have people on the record, it's very hard to do anything about it. But it's something that we really need to address. And that's the thing, you know, that's one of the concerns of Scientology controlling every business down there. If Miscavige actually comes through, what type of horrific conditions are going to be set on keeping their businesses alive? You know, if you have to buckle under to every Miscavige whim, it's not conducive to creating a healthy environment. Anyway, more of this exciting video. Here we go. Oop. I'm telling you, I'm getting there. Boom.
So much. Appreciate that. Another question, or do you have about our campaign or the future, or any thoughts? Yeah, talk loud. Yep.
Yeah, I'm listening. You guys are still going to try to buy Garden Avenue now that Scientology has it right?
Good question. So are we still going to buy bar down there? If you listen to our original speech from the beginning and our second presentation, we've always said this: we object to the vacation of South Garden Avenue. We don't want the city to vacate it. Now that sounds like it's self-sabotaging, because if they refuse to vacate the street, then that means the declaration of surplus and sale of the street is null and void. And that's what you saw happen just this last decision, which is why we're celebrating. We want the city to own the city streets. We want the city to maintain the city streets. That was our original desire. Please don't sell the street, especially not to the Church of Scientology. But if you, City Council, are hell-bent on selling the street, then it's in our rights as citizens to provide an alternative proposal for a superior use of that street. They're giving 1.3, we're giving 1.5. They're closing it down. We're leaving it open. So we beat them on every level for a superior proposal in the event that they were going to vacate the street. But then when the Scientologists withdrew from the vacation of the street, all bets were off. All proposals were to fund. And we had a decision. Were we going to go ahead before close of day, go ahead and put a request for the vacation of South Garden Avenue, because then we'd be the only bidder. But we're people of principle. We're people of principle. We don't want the street to be out of the control of the people. So we said, no, we're not going to ask for the vacation of it. We have been doing what we wanted to from the beginning, and that's a lease for 100 years for $1 a year, South Garden Avenue, a portion of it, so we can install the African-American Memorial Garden for the people of the garden. And we're staying true to our original vision that Miss Barbara Story Love and our team committed to. So no, we're not going to buy the street, but we will lease a big portion of it. Great question, fantastic.
And let
Any
me
other questions? Yes, ma'am.
let me chime in here a little bit about the question that had popped up on the screen about Downtown Pizza not being thrilled with the protests. I'm not involved in any of that, really. I haven't heard from Downtown Pizza, but I take it from the response here that that they were upset with protests. I don't know if were folks protesting right in front of Downtown Pizza or just out on Fort Harrison Road. I can't imagine that they'd be upset if they're on Fort Harrison where the Cleveland Street is cut off. But if you're protesting right in front of Downtown Pizza, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, yeah, they wouldn't be thrilled about that. I do know that for a while we had a guy pick up my suggestion of doing Scientology tourism because people are so fascinated by Scientology. The city should take advantage of that and start giving tours of the properties. And this guy, who I knew, he was the condo association president, where in the building I first moved into when I moved back to Clearwater in 2013. Well, he picked up that idea I suggested at a council meeting, and he started doing tours for a while. And he did it in a kind of a harsher way than he should have, really. And he created a lot of trouble by he would on the tour he would usually drop into a place and they'd all have a coffee or something, and I'm sure he was loud and boisterous because that was the nature of the tour. And some shop owner, not Downtown Pizza, but somebody said, no, you're not welcome in here. And so this guy went online and gave him a 1-star review, said that they were controlled by, or they were Scientologists. And, then the business calls up City Hall going, you got to stop this. What the hell's going on? And then the city manager turns to me, Mark, you were the one who suggested this. You got to stop this. So I tried to talk some sense into the guy and say, listen, calm it down. Don't be doing something stupid like, giving a 1-star review to one of our businesses. We need the businesses to thrive. It's hard enough down there. So I imagine that there are businesses who don't like any of the controversy. But I hate to think that Downtown Pizza is trying to ban any protest. They have always been great to me. It's my favorite go-to place down there. And the people who run it are not Scientologists. But again, it's in a building owned by Agami. So there is pressure that gets put on them. All right. That is my interruption for this point. And now I'm going to clumsily get back here to the video.
The second vote of the vacation of that street.
How do we stop the second vote of the vacation of the street? The same way we stopped it the first time. We convince through relationship and through superior presentation, at least 3 of the 5 to vote no on vacation. That's what we have to do. David Albritton, I gave him a verse when I met him face to face, and it was this verse. When you sit down to eat with a ruler, consider what is before you, and put a knife to your throat if you're a man given to appetite. Do not desire his delicacies, for they are deceptive food. Now, I learned that verse when I was 7 years old, and my stepdad taught it to me, and it was in the King James Version, and I didn't know what it meant, but I memorized it. When thou sittest down to eat with the ruler, consider what is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat if thou beest a man given to appetite. And my stepdad would say, what's that mean? I'm like, I'm 7. I have no idea. When he taught me at 7 years old at that dinner table, it means when you're in front of someone who's really powerful, really important, really wealthy and rich, you have to guard your heart from what? From greed, from opportunism, from desire, aka appetite, because he's going to bring his delicacies, but you have to understand that there are strings attached. Whatever he presents you that's so beautiful and so amazing that really evokes your appetite, he's going to use it against you. He will exploit your desire so he can get what you want. You might as well put a knife to your throat, kill the idea, leave the dinner table. And when I told that to Auburn, that was a verse for him. Your desire is being exploited. And what did he say when he says he withdrew? He says, I guess my desire for an activated downtown overshadowed my better judgment. How do you stop them from vacating it? You have to reason with them. You have to convince them. You have to persuade them. You have to help them see what they need to see. And that's what we're going to do in the most professional, loving way we can. All right. Get them fired up. So excited. All right. Any other questions? Yes. Go ahead. In Spanish, please.
It seems to me that a large part of it is what we lost at the council elections. When is the next election? And how do we regard it? I don't recall either. Menino or Cotton impressing he had to speak. Pro side. How we guard against police brutality? Try that. How?
Mike has it. You got to repeat the question and then answer.
The question was, how do we make sure that somebody that's going to side with them does not get elected? So we got to be point blank. When I ran against Ryan Cotton, I ran against Mark Bunker also. And Mark and I both knew where we both stood. And to be honest with you, I thought Ryan stood there too.
Nope.
But that's not the case. As you can see, he was selling it more than just voting for it. And that's because he had political pressure from higher ups. Teresa Dugan gave over $10 million to the Republican Party. That money funneled down to Anna Paulina. That money funneled down to Ryan Cotton. I outraised Ryan 2-1. He outspent me 4-1. That's okay. And when he won, I was happy that he won. But that's never in my imagination did I understand this would happen. So we have to be very, very clear. First of all, Lena Teixeira is going to run again. And she just sent me a text today, and she says, how do I get a hold of your people? Because she is the fighter that we need in that box. And I think Aaron could say that too, because Aaron ran against her and lost. But she is the fighter that we need in that box against Scientology. We have the mayor, but the mayor can't do any, he can't make a motion. And Aaron, just to correct you, they do have to do it twice because they pulled it off. They have to do it twice again. But they can wait until there's a next election. So we have to make sure that whoever that other candidate is that's going after Dave Albritton's seat is aligned with what we want, the citizens, is aligned with against Scientology, the fight against Scientology. And we will, I guarantee it, we will be questioning it point blank. and we will get them on paper before they ever step foot. Where do you stand on the vote that just took place? What do you have to say on the vote that just took place? What would you have voted? I don't want to get any, well, maybe with this decision or that decision. No, what would you have voted? Because there's nothing that Scientology can do that we need in this city. So we have to be very vigilant. I don't care if it's a Democrat or Republican. I'll tell you, I think we should have a citizens party. But anyway, we need to make sure that we're about God's work and not about Scientology's work. So please be vigilant, be smart when you're talking to people. Don't be afraid to ask the question, where do you stand on Scientology? That's the biggest thing in Clearwater.
Yeah, that's right.
And by the way, let me
There's another property that's coming up.
add
called
one
the-
thing here. Here I am. So when Mike Mastriserio says that you thought Ryan was opposed to Scientology, that was never the case. All along the way, every single candidate forum we had, he said, it's a religion. They got to be treated just like every other religion. And clearly he had no interest in looking at how Scientology actually operates and what they have done to the city. He was single-minded. He was the only candidate out there who was actually just saying, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, we gotta work with them. So that's why he was so beloved among the Scientology crowd out there. So he got all their votes. Okay, maybe there are one or two, about to leave Scientologists who may have voted for me, but the bulk of them all went to Ryan. Let's see. What is there something else I wanted to mention before we go back here? No, except I'm going to force my way onto the stage again in just a moment because he's bringing up. Brooks is going to bring up the situation we had with a developer being chased away from an affordable housing project, and I added a little bit to that. And I'm glad this happened because just earlier in the day, I had somebody contact me who was a frequently in communication with me on Facebook. After every council meeting, I would be hearing from him. He was a nice guy. He actually came to meet me at one of my campaign events last time, and he made a nice big walking stick that he carved for me that I have propped up against the bookcase in here. But he said, Mark, you got to let Brooks know about the Firehouse. Let them know what happened with the fire station. And since Brooks brought it up here, I thought, well, this is the perfect time to fill in some more blanks on that. So this is what we're getting to right now. Here we go. Oh, this is smooth, I tell you.
Yeah, Firehouse. You guys familiar with it? Scientology is trying to buy it. And so I just want to, if you don't know about it, in 2022, there was a developer that got approval from the commissioner, I forget the exact words, and they actually had $17 million of credit to actually use to build an affordable housing project. Because if you look at affordable housing, there's nothing really available for those with low incomes that would qualify. And so this would be a beautiful building, beautiful condo type facility. I think it was like 80 something units. And they were all set to build it. They were about to lay ground. And then Scientology entered, offered the developer $2 million to walk away from the project. And the project stopped. So it was approved by the city to be a much needed affordable housing unit. Now this is remember they talked about Scientology wanting 3 properties. First is South Garden Avenue. Second is the Firehouse. Third is the CMA lot, where the old aquarium lot used to be. The second property that they're gunning for, which is about to be demolished, is called the Firehouse. we're going to have a campaign in time, when it's the right time, called Save the Firehouse. We're looking for a developer to put an affordable housing unit right there to finish the project that the city originally wanted. We're working very diligently. Every day I'm working on this specific project, every day advancing it. And we, with our African-American community that we've been able to establish and the relationships, there's a specific group, I won't tell you who, but they're very well organized and they are ready to rock, to advocate, like the foundation did here with Ms. Barbara Story Love. They're going to be our advocates to make sure that that gets installed. So I'm so thankful for that. Yes, Mr. Bonker.
Could I give you some more information?
Yes.
On,
Yep,
on
go
that?
for it. All right, yeah, give us the SparkNote version. Or Cliff Note.
All right. So a little more behind the scenes drama on the Firehouse, because we had worked so hard to approve this affordable housing development. And right when I got elected, COVID hit. And it made it incredibly difficult to do anything. And it made it far more expensive for these developers to actually construct these buildings. So they came back to us and they said, we need more money. And we as a council said, yes, you got it. This is important to us. There was this and another affordable housing complex. We fully funded them so they could continue to move forward. With the Firehouse property, we didn't know on the council what was going on behind the scenes. We found out from Tracy McManus, the terrific reporter for the Tampa Bay Times, who unfortunately left to head to a different paper out of town. But she was fully on top of Scientology, and she uncovered the fact that Scientology had been pressuring this developer every day. And when they do this, it's nonstop calls, it's nonstop emails. They come to your place and harass you. We want the property. We want it. We want to work this out. And our city manager at the time was a new city manager who we hired. He was with us for a year before we fired him. We found out that the city manager was working with Scientology to try to find a different spot for this affordable housing project. Unfortunately, all the money that was tied to that project from state and federal funding, that was locked into that Firehouse property. That money would not move with it. And ultimately, the developer said, I'm out of here. He may have taken that $2 million from Scientology, but the impetus was Scientology, the developer said, Clearwater needs to decide what they want for their downtown. And he just split.
So this is a big prayer request, guys, that we have the developer who does not struggle with greed and is not easily moved. We need a developer. We're going through them right now through conversations. It's very challenging to find a developer willing to square off with the pressure that Church of Scientology has. But we're going to stay on it. Reconnect Clearwater is committed to make sure that we protect those lands. All right. Anything else? Have you had fun tonight, by the way? Man, this is old school town hall. Yes, Miss Barbara Story Love, you don't have to go anywhere. Let me just give you a mic.
The question is, where are the Save the Garden t-shirts?
Yay, whip, whip. Yeah.
Give me a link.
We need them on.
Big Mike, Master Siriardi. That's right. You know, there will be another Save the Garden push, and we just got to time it right. You know, we don't want people to see it all the time that it ends up being something they block out of their mind. There has to be a strategic push, just a boom, we're back. And so we're going to wait. And of course, when we do that, you will have publicity, we'll have people talking about it. I counted, you know, there was over 33 local media articles and videos just about our little movement here. Isn't that awesome? Over 33. That's phenomenal. So we're going to do that again next time we have something. And I want to hear music again, and I want to mingle and hang out and see you guys. And I just want to say, love you. Let's close this in prayer, okay? Now, Heavenly Father, you got us on this journey. I really believe that. You are a father too. You are a father. You love your kids. And when you see us trying to do something that is real difficult, like riding a bike without training wheels, you're so excited to see us achieve. And we know, we sense that you are well pleased with what you've seen. We've tried to carry ourselves well. We've tried our best to speak absolute truth to our best of our ability. We've tried to be peacemakers, seeking the prosperity and the peace of the city, like Jeremiah instructs us to in the Bible. We've tried to make friends with people who are believers and non-believers, who are on our side of the political spectrum and not. Lord, because you love everyone. And we just thank you for being with us. Thank you for taking away the fear. Thank you for being the provider that we need you to be. And we trust, God, that you who began a good work will be faithful to complete it. And we know also, finally, that you are grieved by the lies that have been propagated by the Church of Scientology. You hate lies. You hate a lying tongue. You hate that religious spirit that leads people astray. It grieves you. We sometimes wonder, why don't you just make it disappear? Why don't you just move them out, Lord, and replace it with something truthful? But you use your people in your timer. And we know you wait for us to pray. And you have heard somebody's prayers because you've activated your people. So we love you. We say victory is yours. Glory goes to you. And it's in the name of Jesus, at the speed of the Holy Spirit, that we continue moving forward. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. God bless you guys.
All right. Well, thank you for sitting through the entire event with me. I didn't interrupt too often. Hello to Erica. Nice to have you here. It was nice to see you last night. I'm sorry that we didn't have a chance to really talk. I immediately went into videotaping mode as soon as people started talking, and then rushed home to start editing the footage. So I didn't join in with the festivities too much, and I missed out on having a delicious meal there. But food looked great at the sports bar. So stop down there. Anyone who's in the area, check it out. Give them a chance. Prelude Sports Bar on Cleveland, 500 block of Cleveland. And I have to thank Brooks Gibbs for doing such a spectacular job of, saving the garden. Work is still progressing on that, but he is remarkable. It would be nice to get back on the council and work with him to make sure that all of these ideas that he has for the downtown and for the city that we can implement. So we'll be talking about that. It's too early to announce any run, but it's something that I'm considering. And I want to thank everybody who has been here on the channel with me, being very supportive. Kelly is asking for candles. All right, let's get candles. And cake is good too. So I think, unless you appreciate that, I have one vote down and only all the rest of them to go. Anything else that you folks want to talk about? I saw this from Emmy earlier. If Scientology actually cared about people, they would have used those empty buildings to give shelter to homeless people, victims of drugs and whatnot, instead of playing mafia. Yes, that would be something that they could easily do. They have plenty of room. But homeless people are downstat, and they have no interest in helping them. As they say themselves, Scientology makes the able more able. If you're not able, if you're so far down on the tone scale that you're a homeless person, well, we'll pick you up next lifetime. Better luck then. So that's a wonderful religious attitude for any church organization to have. I remember when Paris Morphopoulos, I think this was before I got on the, it was before I got on the Downtown Development Board, which Scientologist Paris Morphopoulos chaired. Because if I had been on the board, I would have responded directly to this. But he at one meeting said that we can't make it too inviting for the homeless people here. We don't want to turn this into like Disneyland for the homeless and draw people here by giving them housing and things like that. So that's the nice charitable attitude that Scientology has. They have the money. They could definitely help them out. But, next lifetime. Anything else here starred? Let's see what we have. Another message from Emmy that was starred. It's scary how they managed to buy almost an entire city, by the way. And for what? For only having more staff members from overseas and elderly OT8s attending courses than actual new members? It is crazy. Well, they haven't bought an entire city. They've purchased all of the remaining property that's currently available downtown. But they don't own the city. They don't own City Hall. Actually, they do own the building that City Hall is now in, as they announced that was acquired the moment I stepped off the dais when Ryan Cotton took over seat 2 on the council. The paper that day said, well, the last buildings in downtown Clearwater have been sold to Scientology. And that includes the tower building where City Hall has 2 floors. So that's nice. And it makes me even more happy that one of the things that we managed to achieve on the council was to start building a new City Hall finally, since we had money set aside for that since 2017. Against the wishes of our then Mayor Hibbard, who did not want to build a new City Hall, but he wanted to take over the downtown library. We approved the City Hall, and that caused him to quit in the middle of a meeting. But I think we're proven right now by having a City Hall that's under construction at this moment that Scientology doesn't own and can't own and won't own. So there you go. That's my diatribe. As for downtown pizza, I think that we addressed this in some of the comments. Heard they weren't happy with the protest. The building is owned by Moises Ogami, who owns most of the buildings in that block of Cleveland Street. And I think, as somebody said earlier in the chat, and I put those on the screen, that management there wasn't happy about all the car honks that were caused by the protesters being out on Cleveland Street there at Fort Harrison. And I can see that. I can see where, if you got customers who are sitting out on the street and you've got lots of cars honking, it could hurt business. And you know, as when you're protesting, you have to remember things like that too. You don't want to piss off the wrong people. The folks at Downtown Pizza are good people, and they're good pizza too. So, you know, there's a way to be a good neighbor when you're protesting. All right. Okay, what's going on here?
Or a man who found a facility where addiction is treated with niacin, sit-ups, and a sauna that smells like malpractice. Mark Bunker, filmmaker, city councilman, longtime enemy of empty buildings and e-meters everywhere. For over 2 decades, Mark has devoted himself to documenting the only religion where your spiritual progress. He's made it his mission to shine a light on an organization that believes trauma can be cured by holding 2 soup cans and talking about volcanoes. Cost millions to renovate, yet remain emptier than a Sea Org retirement plan. He's walked the streets of Clearwater like a one-man truth commission, calm, camera in hand, while Scientology staff vanish behind tinted glass like vampires dodging sunlight. Not exactly a stark contrast to Mark's unpaid staff, a one-woman operation running things scenes at hours even Sea Org members find highly unethical. Yes, and we'll be following up with his mod Kelly for more next week. Anyway, Mark has withstood everything. Bogus complaints, fake friendliness, and enough passive-aggressive smiling to power an entire auditing session. Mark Bunker isn't just a thorn in their side. He's the full rose bush. So tonight, in a rare moment of generosity, possibly scripted under duress, we present a few very special guests, offering what can only be described as reluctant birthday wishes.
Hi, Mark. Pat Harney here. That's Reverend Pat Harney to you. I'm also the Director of Public Relations, though I'm sure you already know that, considering how often you've tried to ambush interview me. On behalf of the most ethical group on earth, I'd like to extend a prayer. May your N Theta be routed to ethics. May your tone level rise above tabloid. And may you finally find peace in a quiet, calm cycle. Preferably with someone else. Let the reactive mind you cling to be as easily erased as our Sea Org health benefits, and may you one day experience the joy of holding 2 cans and pretending it's therapy. And yes, since protocol demands it, happy birthday, Mark. I hope you get exactly what your overts have earned. Amen.
Mark Bunker. How do I even begin? Well, first, I command from great height, symbolically. Don't question it, Bunker. You showed up uninvited, pointed a camera where no Thetan asked you to, and derailed more than one late-night ethics briefing/movie night I was having with my friend Tom Cruise. You weaponized YouTube against us. You filmed me without my good side. And now you expect a birthday greeting? Fine. Happy birthday, Clark. Yeah, Clark. Congratulations on surviving another year as a suppressive leech gnawing at the side of the greatest group on earth. Now go blow.
Yes, Mark Bunker, the N Theta ripple in my Thetan waveforms, a man who ridiculed the E-meter and still achieved fame. Curious, you derailed many auditing cycles, old boy. You once stood within 50 feet of my original hat, and I quivered. That's rare. For your birthday, I recommend 3 rounds of Tier 0, 1 trip through Incident 2, and a nice warm glass of space opera. Float on suppressive, float on.
Well, if it isn't Mark, I'm always filming Bunker. Remember me? Ha ha ha. You edited my passion into meltdowns. That was rude. But honestly, you're kind of disruptively charming. Like an unscheduled E-meter reading at midnight. So hey, if you ever want to hook up one night, we could steam up the room doing some aggressive bull baiting, run a little TR8 back and forth, maybe even locate my misunderstood engram, and this time, I'll let you hold my cans. Happy birthday, you problematic little SP.
4 voices, 1 message, and undeniably awkward, if vaguely threatening. Happy birthday. Mark Bunker, the man, the myth, and the national treasure. We are all still watching you. We'll be right back after this brief auditing session.
Groundbreaker, risk taker, trailblazer. He's an overall boss, award winner, filmmaker, heartbreaker. As Mary D. Moss. The man is a national treasure. He's the myth of the full-on measure. Truth exposer, code decomposer. Never lost his cool, always kept his composure. Boots on the ground since '99. Made him squirm with every line. Tried to dodge, tried to smear, but he stood tall, made it crystal clear. From council seats to camera sparks, all they could say is, "What are your crimes, Mark?" And he don't flinch, just throws that smirk. Let him talk, he's doing the work. Groundbreaker, risk taker, trailblazer. He's an overall boss, award winner, filmmaker, heartbreaker. Ask Mary D. Moss. Groundbreaker, risk taker, trailblazer. He's an overall boss, award winner, filmmaker, heartbreaker. Ask Mary D. Moss. Happy birthday, Mr. Wise Big Man. Thanks for exposing the world's biggest scam. Happy birthday, Mr. Wise Big Man. Thanks for exposing the world's biggest scam. Ooh, yeah.
See you for your 70th next year. Cheers.
Oh my God, what a surprise. Oh, thank you so much for that. I'm sorry, I didn't see who that was actually made
I'm
by.
live.
That was
Okay.
remarkable.
And this is Tori Crispin. I'm
There we go. Yes, am I live or AI? It's hard to tell. Wow, that was JB808. Oops. Well, thank you so much. I mean, that was amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I'm glad that Kelly convinced me to do a stream tonight. My thought, hey, it's my tradition is to treat myself to a steak and go see a movie. But this is much better. Thank you. Well, happy birthday, Wisebeard Man, Mark Bunker. Thank you, Zucht Offen, and everybody else. That was absolutely spectacular. I don't know that there's any way for me to top that. Thank you, Mark. Keep up the good fight, wise man, and happy birthday. Nice video. Whoever made it with JB808. Such talent. I had no idea. Green dress got the moves. Yeah, I thought. Mary DeMoss offering to allow me to finally hold her cans. I thought that was wonderful. Let's see. Mischief Managed. Liked it as well. Holy Rogue. Happy birthday, Mark. Thanks so much for what you do. Lara FM is correct. That was hilarious. But to hear directly from Miscavige and also LRH himself, my God, this is spectacular. But then, it couldn't be better than to have Mary finally make my dreams come true. So I guess I'll have to meet her up with her tonight, and that's a good enough reason for me to say goodnight to you all. And pronounce this the best birthday ever. That's right. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for all you do and for, having that ready to go and surprise me. Thank you all for everyone who's been joining me here on the channel. We'll keep coming up with more great stuff for you to watch. Who do we have here? Professor Kakan says, hi, Xenu TV crew and room raiders from Tori and Liz interview. Okay. All right. Well, you folks have a great night, and I will see you again. Definitely on the 70th birthday. I can't wait to see what happens then. And until then, good night.
What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Your crimes are hidden, they should be seen. Spin all out, Mark, and just come clean.